Okay, 12 o'clock. It is showtime. Thank you, everyone, for coming to security awareness training, where we're going to help you not be a statistic. We are going to go fairly fast through this because I have a lot of content here. I'm going to show a lot of examples that are as current as I can make them. A lot of it comes from my own personal accounts. I have an OG email account and a domain registered that I set up around 2000, and it's an attractant for all kinds of bad stuff. So we'll see some examples out of there. Keep in mind, this is a good thing you're doing. If we can help prevent you from making a mistake that brings down your entire business, especially if your business is a hospital or something like that, we've done our jobs. We can give you credit for attending here. All you need to do is ask, send a message to marketing@lumificyber.com, and Ashley, who is on this call in the background watching things going on, will send you a certificate that says you have completed security awareness training. This is an annual requirement for just about everyone, so thank you for being here, even if you're being forced to be here. We are recording this, and the recording will be available on the Lumify YouTube channel. So like I say, I'm going to go through some of this pretty fast, and you're probably going to want to review some of this, especially the part about your home network security. I'm going to go into some detail here. Okay, this is me, and I have done these things. I've contracted, consulted, been the managing consultant for VeriSign Global Security, the CISO, Chief Information Security Officer for the City of Seattle, a policy advisor to the state, Vice Chair of a Homeland Security Government Coordinating Council for state, local, tribal, and territorial infrastructure protection. I've founded a company, founded a nonprofit, and blah, 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 blah. So I have a whole lot of context that I'm bringing to the discussion. Hopefully that comes out. All right. First, talk a little bit about Lumifi. Lumifi primarily can be characterized as a company that does two things: managed security service and professional services. Managed security services are about monitoring your network, putting out little fires before they get big. On the professional services side, and I'm joined by my good friend Brad Swanson here, who's going to be in the chat answering your questions. Brad runs professional services. That's risk assessments, penetration testing, tabletop exercises, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So everything that you need to do to stay compliant and to assess your organization for your security controls, Brad's there for you. We want to work for the things that matter most. And if you think about it, in today's world, you're trying to apply preventive controls in your organization so that the likelihood of you becoming a statistic is reduced, and it will never go to zero. Okay, you're not going to go glove to glove with North Korea and win. You are secure until your ticket is punched. Okay, after that, you need to be monitoring your network, see something going on you don't like, investigate that, confirm that it's something in progress, and deal with it right away. So the SOC of the future, Lumify is evolving into now, is more about putting out those little fires than it is about doing that detection. AI is on our side now. AI can do that first pass investigation and make a determination as to whether or not something is going on, escalate that ticket to an analyst. So the humans are still in the background there, and these are the key value propositions here, right? Regulatory stuff. If you monitor your network, you have 24/7 monitoring from a service that reflects very well to your auditors, also to your insurance company. You can get lower insurance premiums because you monitor your network. You're trying to minimize the impact of what is now a foreseeable event. Okay, alert fatigue. Nobody wants to be drowning in alerts, right? This is where all the technology in that background filters out the things, puts the things that are important into the view of the humans. You probably have tons and tons of tools around. Trying to consolidate those tools is tough. Lumify will scarf up every kind of alert you can make from your endpoints, from your network, from your cloud, from your SIM system, tools that you already have, ingest all that, make sense out of it, run AI through it, provide that ticket to an analyst, and then put out the little fire. Okay, this is our value proposition. So yes, it's led by humans. Nothing is going to be completely AI driven. That's not safe. I don't know if you've been doing some reading, but AI still makes a lot of bad decisions. This decreases the mean time to detection. It is optimized protection. Again, it's about impact management, impact minimization of a foreseeable event. And that's what lawyers call a cyber event. It's foreseeable. Why do they call it that? Because there's a standard in the legal profession called the standard of foreseeability. If you fail to take steps to mitigate the risk of a foreseeable event, you're guilty of negligence. Okay? This is what we do. We help keep your C-suite out of litigation. All right. And again, we can put all kinds of your alerts to use through aggregating those, putting those through our filters, correlating events, et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of this is based on behavioral alerting, right? So back in the 20th century, it was all signature-based alerting, like antivirus. You had to have the signature of a bad thing. And we say, oh, we just saw this thing and we know what it is because we have a signature for it. We have an exact match, okay? It's not that way anymore. Behavioral alerting, developing a baseline of average activity for every object on your network. And then once some object does something that's two standard deviations from the mean, an alert goes off and we have to investigate. So in the world of yesterday, this was all about signatures and viruses and malware. Now it's about sneaky stuff like your tools are being used that are used by your administrators. It's called living off the land technique. That's the kind of thing that Lumifi is there for. We detect very subtle things and help put those fires out. Now, that was the commercial. Let's look at a little bit of data that's going on right now. Here's what we're seeing in the real world. And these numbers come from a quarterly report that's put out by our Security Operations Center. If you're a Lumify customer, you have this report. You can see all this. You can also request this from Ashley. Again, that's marketing at lumifycyber.com. Phishing, still the number one threat. That's why you guys are here. You keep clicking on stuff. And so we're going to show you a bunch of examples. I'm going to give you a spoiler right now. If something comes to you through some kind of messaging system, including a phone call, a text message, anything, if you did not expect it, it is suspicious. Okay? The internet is not a nice place. 90% of cyber attacks start with this phishing, getting you to bite on something that's false, probably for you to give up your credentials, but not necessarily. Other things happen too. Ransomware is still out there. It's not as big a financial term as fraud is. Fraud is so easy to pull off that it is the much bigger loss area. So account redirection, business email compromise, right? Hey, HR, I just changed bank accounts and here's the new account. Start depositing my checks into here. That's business email compromise. Account redirection happens all the time. Endpoints are going nuts right now. Look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. Something's going on. Okay. So thousands of alerts coming in, and those have to be filtered down to what's real. Okay. This is what's happening in the real world. Here's what's happening from, I told you I started a nonprofit. Well, our nonprofit monitors networks, small cities and counties for free. We use the data as live fire curriculum for a whole bunch of universities. Here's an uptick in alert traffic through the month of March. Anybody care to guess what happened during the start of the month of March that may have contributed to this? It's not March Madness, it's a war. Okay. So we see this. This is also happening to you. You need to be aware that geopolitically, the world is not a nice place right now, and it's bleeding over into everybody's network. All right, here's some industry metrics. 247% surge in exploit activity. Okay, I'm going to explain what an exploit is and what a vulnerability is. We'll get to that. This is a big number. Okay, what this means is people are trying to pop your firewall when your firewall has a vulnerability announced before you put the patch on it. Okay, the patch, the update. The CVE database, common vulnerabilities and exposures, big uptick in the number of vulnerabilities that have been detected. And now there's this Anthropic product called Mythos. Mythos is very, very good at finding these vulnerabilities. And everybody's hair is on fire right now because they think that this technique, not necessarily this tool, but this technique is going to be used by bad guys. So here it is. AI vulnerabilities are accelerating at an unprecedented rate. Yes, they're using AI to find vulnerabilities in the products that commonly face the internet, right? All those are in scope of this talk. Top cybersecurity Trends. We need to do something about post-quantum cryptography. This sounds like a very esoteric thing, but this is cryptography at risk because quantum computing is so fast, it can break encryption using what's called brute forcing. I will try every combination of letters and characters I can to get the passphrase for this key. Okay. And they can do this in seconds rather than millennia. Okay, that's coming. AI obviously is reshaping identity and access management. There are a whole lot of what we call non-human identities that are now being put to work, and they're all over the place. And how do you know that this is an AI agent and not a human? Is this thing doing something bad? So this is part of the new crop of startups. Everybody is working on AI governance and detection of misuse and uploading intellectual property into an agent, things like that. These companies are popping up all over the place, and it's to meet this demand. Again, AI related vulnerabilities are going up really quickly. And this is not going to stop. This is absolutely not going to stop. All right. So, why are you here? All right. You may be working in an organization that has records that you really don't want to lose because if you do, it's going to cost a lot of money. Could end up in a class action suit. Intellectual property, you certainly don't want to lose that. Glad you're here. If you're from the public sector and the services that you maintain make toilets flush and water drinkable and the fire department get to your house before you're dead, that's really critical stuff. So if you work in the public sector or the water sector, something like that, thank you for being here. I like my toilet to keep flushing. Okay. You may be here because this is an annual requirement. You need credit for this. I talked about that. You can get credit or you're bored. Whatever. All right. So, what do we want you to take away from this? The internet is not a nice place. Okay. I go through this with my mother, 85 years old, all the time. Okay. The fraud out there is rampant. Anything you see that you did not expect is your assumption should be this is bad. Okay. Offers that look too good to be true, yeah, they're fake. Okay. Now, there's a few ways that computers and organizations are compromised, and we're going to talk about the three prevalent methods that they're using to get into your organization and to get access to you. Okay. The bait, we're going to show lots of examples of that. And you should be aware that it's not just a shotgun blast out over the internet anymore. It's not seeing who's gullible enough to click on something. There's research that goes into this now. They're going to look you up on LinkedIn. Who do you report to? Who can authorize the movement of money? Who affects the movement of money? Things like this. So be aware your profile out there, your exposure on the internet is being used against you. Let's ground ourselves in the business outcomes that we're trying to avoid here. Okay. We have the worst secret handshake language in the universe. Okay. And I have briefed senators and governors and generals and lots of executives and talking about scary Russian cyber buffer overflow, SQL injection doesn't do anybody any good. Okay, we need to talk about the business outcomes we're trying to avoid. Unauthorized disclosure of protected records. Okay, we know it costs about $300 a record to clean that up. You have 1 million records in a database that meet the definition of personally identifiable information. You have a potential liability of $300 million there. Let's say that's at medium risk. You have a potential liability of $150 million there. Can I have $50,000 to deploy controls to reduce that risk in half? Oh, we get $75 million of risk reduction for an outlay of $50,000. That sounds like a deal to me. That's the way to have the conversation. Okay. It's business outcomes we're trying to avoid. Unauthorized disclosure of protected records, theft, business email compromise, account redirection, very pervasive, extortion through ransomware that I will explain, denial of service attack, throwing so much stuff at your website that it won't operate anymore. Okay. And hey, pay us, we'll make that go away. That's extortion. All right. Your network used to attack others, being the third party who's responsible for all of your business associates being compromised. Right now, class action suits are going after the source of those business or those events, and class action suits are astronomical. Don't be that third party that gives up all your customers. All right. And the last thing is destructive disruption. And this is happening more and more now with what are called wipers. Okay, a wiper hits your network like ransomware, but you're not going to get your network back. Okay, it's just going to brick all the computers. And this is starting to happen with some frequency because of the war. All right, vocabulary. All right. Yes, we deal with secret handshake language. Let's try to make a couple of things clear. All right, ransomware. Ransomware starts like every other thing starts. A little piece of unwanted software gets on a computer, on your network, okay? Those things can do a lot of things. They can monitor your keystrokes. They can look around for records to steal. They can go to work putting your computer as part of a botnet to attack others, okay? It all starts the same way. Little piece of unwanted software gets on a computer, okay? Well, what this one does normally provides interactive access to somebody who can come and go in your network as they please. And that somebody, usually on the other side of the world, is going to, excuse me, look around for records to steal. The records will go out the door first. They're going to be used as something, as a tool in what's called double extortion. Then they're going to find your backups, your critical servers, where all your good stuff is, and they're going to lay in encryption software. And it comes down to one key press and everything is encrypted. Nothing works. Then you get the extortion demand, and they will say, pay us to get a decryption key and you can get your network back. And if you don't, all the records we stole are going to be made public and you'll get a class action suit. So it's actually cheaper to pay us. Okay. This is how this works today. That's what ransomware is. Business email compromise. Much more money is lost to business email compromise and this kind of fraud than ransomware. This is the bigger term right here. Why? It's so easy, right? There's no firewall for stupid. We can con people into doing all kinds of things, and it starts this. Please redirect my payments, my paychecks to this new account. Or if I'm a vendor, okay? In fact, I'll give you an example. So I used to be the CISO of the city of Seattle. In Seattle, as well as other cities, there is a nonprofit called Mary's Place. Mary's Place is a shelter for homeless women and children. Okay? City of Seattle supports Mary's Place. Mary's Place had somebody break in and get access to an email account. And they were able to surveil messages going back and forth. And so finally, they found the right person at the city of Seattle that Mary's Place does business with and said, here's our new bank account. Please deposit all further contributions into this account. And they didn't find out till $800,000 later. Okay. That's business email compromise. You've probably seen examples of this, where one of your employees from an email address that looks crazy will say, hey, I have a new bank account. You got to watch out for that. Cryptocurrency mining. Cryptocurrency mining is putting a computer to work trying to solve a cryptographic algorithm. And when it does, when it finds a solution, it mints a coin and the miner gets paid. So if power is cheap, we just rack up computers out in Wenatchee, Washington, where all the power comes from falling water, and call it good. All right, well, power is not cheap. So what they do is they compromise computers, starts with a little piece of unwanted software that somehow somebody let in there, okay? And this one puts that computer to work. And it does this with thousands of computers all over the world. How do you know this is going on? Your computer doesn't work right anymore. The fan won't go off. Okay? It's very sluggish. That could be a sign that you have been put to work as a cryptocurrency miner. Romance scams. Throw a little scammy stuff in here too. Okay, so romance scam meets crypto. This is actually called, it's colloquial, I didn't make this up, pig butchering. What this is, somebody will reach out to you. I'll show you examples of this. And they'll go, hi, I'm blah, blah, blah. Why don't we start talking, right? And it can start with a text message that looks like it was sent to the wrong person. You've probably seen some of these. They're going to immediately try and set up a relationship, some kind of dialogue back and forth. And eventually they're going to go, hey, take a look at this cryptocurrency investment that I have here. And they'll show you a portal where all this money's being made, and they'll get you to invest a little bit of money, and they'll give you this portal and it shows your money going up really quickly, and they're going to get you to invest more, and as soon as you've invested enough, they're gone. Website's gone, portal's gone, all gone, your money's gone. Okay, that's what this is. So when you see these and they come into your text messages and it's somebody you don't know trying to talk to somebody that's obviously not you, just ignore it. Just ignore it. I play around with them. We'll give you an example of that. Okay. So here we go. Shows up just like this, right? There's lots and lots of tactics that are being used. Okay. But remember, somebody you don't know immediately tries to start some kind of dialogue. Okay. Do you have a window for some cycling in Seattle in October? No, I don't. I'm Agatha. Sorry, this isn't Denise. Okay, you know it's not Denise and you're not Agatha. All right. That's how this looks. Do not engage with these folks. It's better for them to think that there's nobody at that number. And remember, this goes out to thousands of phone numbers probably. Okay, let's look at the three prevalent ways people are getting into networks here. Credential abuse. What are credentials? There are passwords, passphrases. Okay. Now, I don't know why people keep picking passwords like this. All right. You're shooting yourself in the foot if your password is password. And look, there are 87 people on this call right now, right? One of you is using at least one of you is using a password of password somewhere, all right? So don't be surprised when that account is compromised because you made it too easy, right? These really are the 10 top passwords people pick, right? I'm not making this up. What's another problem? Unchanged default passwords. Here's an example. You probably heard that Iranian hackers compromised a bunch of US water utilities. Okay. They did that by getting into the programmable logic controllers, PLCs. Okay. These are things that say open that valve, close that valve. That's all they do. They do one of two things, open or close something. And something called a SCADA system instructs them to do that. But all these PLCs run little web servers. So the Iranians, who are really ticked off, went and looked up the default passwords for PLCs made in Israel. And they went and they scanned the internet. They found these PLCs at American water utilities, found the ones where no one had changed the default passwords, walked right in and started to tear things up just because someone had not changed default passwords. Don't make it that easy. Password guessing, obviously that goes on all the time. There is a remote access protocol called SSH, okay? And you can use that to get interactive access to another computer on the other side of the internet, right? Secure shell. If you have an SSH server that faces the internet, the password guessing will start immediately. Within 30 seconds, you'll start seeing password failures, okay? This is going on. It's the background noise of the internet now. Stolen passwords, dumps of stolen passwords. Yahoo lost 1 billion with a B passwords as it was going through an acquisition, which did not help their valuation. Okay. We have those billion passwords. Lots of people have those billion passwords. If you were a Yahoo user and you're in there and you used that password, your Yahoo password, somewhere else, they're going to find you. Okay. So don't share passwords because remember, they're all out there. And I'll give you a service that you can use here in a minute that will help you determine whether or not any of your passwords have been disclosed. Kind of in the middle, okay. We have credential stuffing, all right. Well, that's using all of these passwords that are known to humankind, trying every one of those. Any place we can find passwords, gobble them up, put them all together, try every one of them on your account, okay. And by the time we get to password, I don't know, 712, we're going to get a hit on somebody for sure. All right. Sometimes the way this happens is they will try a single password with every user in your network. And then they'll go to password number 2, every user in the network. And then password number 3, every user in the network. And if they do it that way, nobody has 3 password failures within 5 minutes and gets locked out of the network. Okay. It's a low and slow attack. And again, this password guessing, okay, this credential abuse is the background noise of the internet. It's always going on. Info stealers, okay? Info stealer basically is a rigged website. And you go to this website, and because you haven't updated your browser, see where Chrome is saying you need to update this right now? If you have not done that and you run across one of these sites, all of your stored credentials in your browser now belong to the bad guy. Okay, your B of A account, your PayPal account, your Amazon account, you just gave it all up. Okay, Keep those browsers patched. MFA fatigue. What is MFA fatigue? That is multi-factor authentication. If I have your password, but the thing I'm trying to log into using your account has multi-factor authentication set up, right? That challenge is going to come to you. So what happens is I keep trying, I keep trying, I keep trying, and you keep getting these notices on your phone. You're going to let this, is there what it said? And finally you get so tired of it, yeah, make it go away. Well, you just gave somebody access to, your account. So got to watch out for that. If you're having lots and lots and lots of challenges for that second factor, report that to somebody because something's up. Credential stuffing. Here's what this looks like. Okay, this is not a human being behind a keyboard doing this. Again, there are networks of compromised computers all over the world that can be put to use by bad guys. Having them do a denial of service attack against somebody, putting them to work doing crypto mining, or having them be credential stuffers. Okay, so I have one database of passwords and I give it to all of my compromised computers, and they are all doing password guessing. Okay, so these are all over the world. So presumably the password guessing would come from all over the place. Oh, look, here's what it looks like. Okay, this is me, right? I got a password failure every 20 seconds for a week. Okay, where are they coming from? Moscow, China, India, where else? Kuwait. They came from all over the place. Why? Because I talk online, do podcasts and things like that, and I'm talking about what Chinese actors are doing, and apparently they don't like that. Right? So they came after me. Right? If you have the Authenticator app, you can go to show my recent activity, and you can see if you have login failures like this. It's a good thing to check. Okay. All right. This is credential stuffing. This is what it looks like. Computers all over the world trying to break into your account by guessing passwords. On the high end of credential abuse, there is SIM swapping. Okay. So if I can call your telecom provider, and this probably won't work with T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, they're very mature around this, but the smaller ones, this still works. And I can call them up and I can get enough information on you to be able to impersonate you. It's easy to do. And I call them up and I say, hey, this is me. And I was up, I was taking a ferry across Puget Sound, and I was using my phone to take a picture of Mount Rainier, and an orca jumped up and ate my phone. So this is my new phone, and I need you to connect my phone number to the new phone. And if you can convince that person to do that, bad guy's now holding your phone. Well, think about what that means. Go to your Gmail account. Forgot password. Okay, what's the code that just came on your phone? They're in. All right, it's that easy. Now, there are domestic actors that are very good at doing this because the Russians have affiliate models in their cyber criminal organizations. Lots of Gen Z decided they were going to go into cybercrime, use the Russian tools, infrastructure, but their English is perfect and they know how our processes work. And so they're doing this. They're doing SIM swapping, and they're going to help desks to impersonate users and asking for password resets and things like this. And again, I'll show you some examples of this. Bypassing multi-factor authentication. I talked a little bit about MFA fatigue, right? We just keeps coming, keeps coming, keeps coming, and you finally just want to make it go away. Well, don't make it go away. Session token stripping. Here's how this works. You get a link in an email that says, "Hi, I'm Microsoft, and you're out of space. Click here to go to the Microsoft dashboard." And it's a Microsoft link. Okay. Well, what happens is when you click that link, and you shouldn't, you are being routed through a proxy. There is a computer that it activates a script and it sends everything to a computer, strips off the session token out of that stream that tells Microsoft you have an active session, and it presents it to Microsoft. Microsoft says, hey, great session you got there. Never seen your device before. Here's the challenge for the second factor. Route it back through the proxy to the user. User goes, well, I'm logging into Microsoft and they want my second factor, so I'm going to give it to them. You just gave up all your single sign-on applications, SharePoint, OneDrive, everything, right? Just like that. And I've seen this happen, and it takes 1 minute. Okay? 1 minute, you gave up everything in the network. Well, how do you avoid credential abuse? Well, number one, use passphrases. Okay, so NIST, National Institute of Standards and Technology, says, okay, this whole thing about, upper, lower numbers, special characters, got to be so long. That's out. Okay. NIST, the government says that's out. NIST says use a passphrase. Okay. The first line of a book you like. Okay. Nice long sentence, punctuated properly. That's a lot harder to get, especially through brute forcing, right? Just trying to get the random number of characters in order that satisfies that match becomes impossible if you use something very long. Okay. So I'll just tell you, the city of Seattle, we had encryption software. We had to have a master decryption key in case somebody left and we needed to recover something that was on an encrypted drive. This is not true anymore, so I can tell you, but the passphrase for the master decryption key for the city of Seattle was the galley is always at the Seattle end of the boat. And if you've ever been on a ferry in Puget Sound, you know that the galley is always at the Seattle end of the boat. Okay, that's neither here nor there. Use a password vault. It's a real good idea. Keeper, Bitwarden, Dashlane, OnePass, LastPass. These, now every one of these has been compromised, but nobody really lost anything. And I think it's better to use a password vault than it is to store things in a browser because your browser has to be updated very frequently to avoid those info stealers. Okay. You get hit by one of those, everything you have in there is gone. Okay. So see the URL at the bottom there, the link there? Have I been pwned.com? So pwned. All right. Well, that's part of the secret handshake language. It means you're compromised. All right. Have I been pwned.com? And you put your email address in there. And it says, this email address was found in this dump. All right. Well, if you've used that anywhere else, for God's sakes, go change it everywhere else. All right. So that's a handy tool to tell you if your password's been compromised. All right, that was credential abuse, number one. Number two, vulnerability exploit. What is a vulnerability? Let me give you an example. So a long time ago, the original mail transport agent, MTA, was called SendMail, still in use, okay? And this would run on Unix machines. So it's not what you type your email into, it's when you hit send, it's the computer that that message goes to that will determine what the real destination is and then deliver it, okay? That's an MTA. So this guy, Eric Allman, is coding up SendMail, and I believe it was a graduate student project at Berkeley. And he says, okay, I need a variable for sender address. All right, sender address is never going to be more than 255 characters. So I'm going to give it a 255 byte buffer, someplace where the email comes in and you strip off the sender address and you put it that place in memory so that you can use it. Okay. He did not bound the buffer, which means at character 256 or 712 or 1461, you overflow the buffer. That's called a buffer overflow exploit. Okay. All right. And if you do that just right, you get the offset, that number of bytes just right. You can put your choice of executable code into the running stack of the machine. You now own the machine. This happens all the time. Okay. So when you see Cisco firewall announces a vulnerability, here's a patch. A lot of the time, it's a buffer overflow vulnerability. Not always. There are others. Okay, so a vulnerability. Something that's wrong with the computer and the operating system that someone can exploit to take over that system. Right? Here's how this is going down right now. The scanning of the internet for vulnerable systems never stops. Okay? So you have to patch your stuff before the bad guys find it. And I talk to lots of organizations. They go, you know what? We're little, we don't have intellectual property. There's no reason for anybody to come after it. The scanner does not care. The scanner is out there finding vulnerable exposures. It's not identifying businesses to attack. So, like I said, you're secure until your ticket is punched. Okay. Got to keep up on patching. And it's a race. You've probably been reading about Claude's Mythos, right? Anthropic came up with this system called Mythos, and using AI, it finds vulnerabilities in software much more efficiently and with greater number of vulnerabilities found than any other technique that's ever been started before. So they're keeping this under wraps. Okay. They're letting this go out to very specific organizations to find vulnerabilities in their own software. Now, eventually, this will be a great thing. because it'll be implemented by companies that produce software that we buy. And if it's gone through this, hey, we found all the bad stuff in here, it's all fixed, you're good to go, right? But in today's world, stuff like this is going to be out here. And remember, it's not limited to the companies that want to use this in a commercial sense. Okay. Bad guys are making so much money, they do this research too, right? Anything you see show up in commercial space for sure is going on in bad guy land. All right. Now, when a patch is released, the scanning starts immediately. Okay. You can see hackers scan for vulnerabilities within 15 minutes of disclosure. That's been 5 minutes before. There was an exchange, an on-premise exchange vulnerability that came out. China started scanning 5 minutes after Microsoft said something. All right. This is what the world is like now. Being connected to the global network, you're exposed to every bad guy at every university in China, every criminal in Russia. They're all not that far away anymore. Okay. So how do you avoid vulnerability exploit? You keep your stuff patched. Okay. If you're a home user or, primarily Microsoft user, your stuff patches itself. All right. Your phones, you may have to instruct your phone to get the patches. Apple will get nasty with you, right? Say, look, we've been telling you that we've given you patches and you need to reboot your phone. So we're just going to do it for you tonight. You're going to wake up with a new phone. Well, the message there is you have to reboot to activate these patches when they come down, right? So if you look in your lower right tray and you see a little orange dot right down there, that means you haven't rebooted since you got the last patches because they nominally come out on the first Tuesday of the month from Microsoft. All right. If you do have that orange dot, soon as we're done here, reboot your computer. All right. All right. So that was credential abuse and vulnerability exploit. All right. Now let's talk about social engineering. There are things about us that help the bad guys, right? Techniques that are just super useful. And I'll give you an example. When I worked at the city of Seattle long ago, there was phishing messages that came in, right? Trying to get people to bite on a link. And it said, Saddam Hussein found alive. Everybody clicked, right? We designed a phishing message for our employees. And it wasn't, hey, Microsoft says you're out of space. Okay, come on, man. That's so 20th century. Nobody's going to be fooled by that. What we told them was, and this is before an election, your voter registration was found in Arizona. Click here. Boy, did we get a lot of them. Okay. So your curiosity, think current events, things like that, you're likely to get, but you didn't expect that message. Who the hell, what is this internet rando sending me this message here? Okay. Your mind needs to go through that thought process, right? Because this stuff is going to be hitting you all the time. If you did not expect it, it is suspicious. Suspect it. Okay. Hyperbolic discounting, free trials, stuff like that. Okay. Authority bias. Okay. The CEO said I needed to buy gift cards. I'll show you an example. Right. Oh, it was the CEO that said to do this. I better do it. Right. Your eyes need to go up and look and see that email return address that has nothing to do with your CEO. Confirmation bias. We all have this, right? Something says something that you already agree with. And, well, I got to check this out because now I'm smart, right? Over 75% of attacks are caused by human failures. All right. So while vulnerability exploit is a very growing term with the scanning of the internet and the ability to find vulnerabilities much, much faster, it's still, there's no firewall for stupid. Okay. It's people that are doing this. How many presentations do you go to where the guy yells at you? I'm doing it on purpose. All right. Help desk, social engineering. This is going on right now. So again, there's this group, scattered spiders, scatters, lapsus hunters, right? All these groups are coalescing. These are domestic people. They know how to talk to a help desk. Okay. They'll call the help desk, impersonate an employee. It's super easy to find enough information out there about somebody to impersonate them. Ask for a password reset or call an employee and impersonate the help desk and say, we need to re-enroll you for multi-factor authentication. Then they're expecting the second factor to come over. Okay, now approve the second factor. Okay, all right, good. You're good. You just let them in. All right. It's become so easy to just talk people into things that all of the skills, the Uber hacker skills aren't even really that necessary. Phishing, impersonating a trusted brand to get you primarily to give up credentials, to log in and give up your credentials. Okay. It's also, they'll booby trap sites. So there's an info stealer. Says it was Amazon with this great discount. I clicked on it, nothing happened. Now my computer's not working. Okay. Most of these times they will ask you to give up a link, but not always. Sometimes they push malware on you. Sometimes they pull credentials out of your browsers, right? And the kits out there are super easy. So there's this one, Darkula. That's just one I picked out. I think it's an intentional misspelling of Dracula, but all you have to do is provide to their portal, okay, the URL of the company that you want to impersonate. It'll throw up fake pages. It'll create the phishing message for you using generative AI so the English is perfect, right? And you're off to the races. Start collecting money. It's become super easy to become a criminal. Voice phishing, right? And this is not so much trying to get you to give up a password, it's trying to get you to give up some money. More and more, and even people I know say, I got this thing and the voice sounded exactly like my daughter. Okay. Because now it's so easy to simulate a voice, this is being used very routinely. So if an unexpected voice message comes in, phone call, and it's somebody saying that I need money, there's some kind of financial ask there, you need to verify that as independently as possible. Call them back on the number you know, right? Use some other method to contact them and say, was that you? Okay, very important because this is prevalent right now. And hopefully, and again, this is all going to be recorded so that you can send this to your parents and grandparents because they're the ones that really bite on this stuff a lot, especially this grandchild in trouble. Hey, Grandpa, I'm on spring break in Spain. I got thrown in jail. I need you to bail me out. Can you send money? Right? These are extremely common now. Deepfake videos. Oh, yeah. So, very famous example of a CFO. So, bad guys concocted a deepfake video using the likeness of the CFO, sent this video to everybody in the company, and got somebody to start sending $25 million to a bad account, right? So if the CEO or the CFO tells you to do something because of that authority bias, you're more likely to do it. And if it looks like they gave you this command in a video message and it looks and sounds like them, then you should probably do it, right? Right. Lots of money being lost this way. So again, you're being asked to do something financial or give up some kind of secret, and you did not expect this request, you need to suspect it. Okay, that was the three prevalent ways people get into computers: credential abuse, vulnerability exploit, social engineering, including the newest techniques, voice phishing, deepfake videos. Let's look at a bunch of bait. Okay, now hopefully this doesn't surprise anybody that this is fake. All right, the USPS does not know your phone number. The United States Postal Service does not keep everybody's phone number. So if you get anything from the USPS, it's fake. Okay, and it's got this weird instructions. Please reply Y, then exit the test and open it again to activate the link and blah, 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 blah. All right, dead giveaway. This is no good. Fake job offers all over the place. And some of these are actually getting fairly sophisticated, coming out with what look like marketing flyers and things like this. Okay. You didn't expect it. You know that this fake job offer thing is out there. Don't believe it. Okay. The way this works is they'll go, oh, okay, well, you want to get hired? Here's this great deal. We're going to pay you lots of money for doing nothing. That should be your first giveaway. Okay. Offers too good to be true. All right. What they're going to do is go, okay, we're going to start depositing money in your account. So we need your account details. So you give them your bank routing number and your account number. Then they start the process. There's two small deposits that go into your account, and they will ask you, what was the value of those two deposits? And you'll go, it's 37 cents and 23 cents. I don't know why I just picked two prime numbers, but I did. Then, if you tell them that, they tell the bank that, and they go, okay, you're authorized to move money. Well, that's two-way movement of money. Yeah, they can deposit stuff in there, but they can also pull stuff out, and that's what they're going to do. So if you sign up for one of these fake job offers, they're going to drain your bank account. Okay, here's more of the pig butchering. And yeah, I actually like to play around with these folks a little bit. So here's somebody that goes, I'm sorting out my contacts and I saw that your number has no notes. Can you tell me your name? Right away, I know what this is. All right, so my name is Werner Heisenberg. All right, and if you've taken any physics classes, you know who that is. Your name sounds familiar, but I can't remember it. Oh, okay, so you've taken a physics class. Well, of course it's familiar. Google my name. A physicist from Munich has passed away. Yeah, a long time ago. Do you have your own photos? I'm not sure which one is you. Okay, so now they're looking you up. They're trying to find out who you are. Okay. Ever heard of ever heard of pig butchering? Oh yeah, I know what that is. And I left off the end of this because this person said, "Is your name really Werner Heisenberg?" And I said, "One can never be certain." And so hopefully if you've had enough physics, you're laughing your head off right now. Okay, so yeah, play around with these folks, but do be careful, right? Remember, they do have your phone number. Okay. Hey, Grindle, will you and Jessica be coming to the party tomorrow? Yes. What can I bring? And I assume clothing is optional again. Mess with them a little bit, right? So, I mean, you do this, they don't come back for the most part. Don't tick them off. Don't threaten them. Don't call them names. Business email compromise. Lots and lots and lots of money lost to business email compromise. Okay. All right. Here is an email message to me from Garrett Silver, the CEO of my former company, whose email address is not chief underscore exec dot officer one at AOL.com. And I know that because I personally know the only two remaining AOL customers. Okay. So set that aside. Okay, I'm arranging some gifts for the staffs. Okay, that's a little grammatical problem. That's more useful in the UK and India than the United States. Okay, but remember the tactic. Okay, you're being asked to buy gift cards. This is so easy to pull off. As soon as you see something like, oh, that guy told us about this tactic, eyes up. What's the return address? That's not the CEO. Okay, when something like this happens, be very careful. Look very carefully at what you're doing. Look at all the information in front of you. Ask a question if necessary, and then delete this and go back to work. Microsoft will not tell you these things. Microsoft does not communicate with you to tell you these things. They communicate to admins. Okay. So look at every one of these messages. What is the return address on these? Mountainmadness.net. Is that Microsoft? No. Okay. Lynn McKee, interiordesign.com. That's not Microsoft. Okay. tpaperperformance.com. You've got to look at what's in front of you to determine whether or not this is good or not. And it's probably not. Okay. A QR code is a URL. Don't scan this. I don't know what happened with the one I had the red dot on it so people wouldn't scan it. More of these are coming out now, but right? Because a QR code is a URL. You just have no idea where it goes. You scan this thing on your phone, all of a sudden, your phone's taken over. Right? It's that simple. So when somebody sends you a QR code like this and you did not expect it, leave it alone. Don't scan it. Don't be curious. Lots of document review stuff, DocuSign, right, will come out. And it's, oh, you received a document to review and sign. Doesn't say who from, okay? Doesn't say what the content is, nothing like that. Well, probably not a good idea to click on this, okay? Here's action request. Stay informed of all documents. They want you to read the documents. They want you to hit the link, all right? Here's a fake voicemail recording, right? Your service has been restricted, or it'll say, click here to get your voicemail. You know you don't use that service. Don't be curious. Don't fall for this. Okay, no, no. Lowe's is not going to give you a Craftsman tool cabinet for your opinion. No, they are not. Okay, these happen all the time. CVS, Starbucks, Lowe's, Home Depot, Verizon. These things are everywhere. They're going to, oh, we're doing a survey. If you do our survey thing, you win a prize. No, you don't. Okay, remember I said there's something called the urgency bias. All right, see where it says limited supply, 9 rewards remaining. You're going, oh my God, I better do this right now. Right? No, no. How can there be 9 rewards remaining if this is some campaign that's all, but how do they know how many are left? All right. Use your head. Urgency bias, again, all right? This is a secure encrypted message, all right? Somebody's trying to give you money, okay? And says, once you approve this, the money will go into your account. No, it won't. They're just trying to get your login to your American Express account. That's what that is. Okay. You didn't expect it. It's talking about a financial transaction. And so you are suspicious. You're looking at all the information in front of you. Where did it come from? And actually, a really good thing to do is when something's trying to get you to click on a URL, you put it through a service that'll tell you how bad that URL is. And I'll show you that in a minute. The click fix attack. This is happening right now. Something pops up and says, oh, this error has happened. In order to fix this, click here. And it'll give you a command to run on the computer that will basically download malware for them and put it on your computer. Okay. Something pops up and says, oh, you got to fix this. Click here. No, no. Go ask somebody about this because it's probably fake. Okay, this comes to me as well. My old-timey domain was registered through Network Solutions. I don't know why. I just always kept it there. And it says, and I get 3 of these a week, right? Action required. Hey, your account's about to time out. You got to click here. Okay, I know what that is. And I can hover over the link and I can see that it goes someplace that's not Network Solutions and I know it's fake. Okay, go through the extra step, right? Take it and put it into virustotal.com. Copy the link. Don't click on it. Okay. Copy the link, put it into VirusTotal. VirusTotal will tell you it will pass 96 different checkers over it, and it will tell you how many of them found something bad. Okay. Real good tool to use. Have I been pwned.com? Check and see if your email account has been compromised or that password disclosed somewhere so that you can change passwords if you need to. Use VirusTotal to check bad links. So here's a very recent one. As we get closer to tax time, everything is going to be more predicated towards taxes and refunds and things like that. And so all this is very active right now. So your SSA document is now available for download. Oh, okay. So the link actually points to royal pools and more, right? The whole thing is a download link. You don't have to download on the link. The whole image is a link. Okay, so now my antivirus did not catch this. I assume it was phishing to get my Social Security login because I don't know if you can tell, I'm old. So I do have a Social Security account, but I'm not going to get fooled like this. You shouldn't either. Oh, job scams are coming out of the woodwork, man. And look how professional this is. Okay, hello, I'm Layla, a recruitment specialist from Indeed. We're hiring for several positions. Daily pay, 100 to $500. It's all remote. You don't have to work very much, right? Right? These are all fake and they're all over the place. Now, as the economic situation in the country gets worse, these are going to work a lot better. And clearly, they're putting some time into making this thing look legitimate enough for people to click on. And I'm sure lots of people clicked on this. Right? This is, if this didn't work, it would quit coming up over and over and over again. And we see this every week. Oh, yeah. So we ran that through VirusTotal. Looks like it's probably not good. Okay. Use virustotal.com. You can upload a file, right? Somebody sends you a PDF, throw it in there. You get a resume out of the blue. Hey, I'm looking for a job. Here's my resume. Well, I didn't expect that. So it goes right through here. And frankly, if you get an attachment like that, and you write it to disk and your antivirus did not go off, that does not mean it's good. That means your antivirus does not have a signature for it, and you should still check it out like this. All right, now, a little bit in our last few minutes here, we're going to talk about your home network. Your home network is now part of the attack surface of your business if you are working remotely. Okay, so we have to worry about that. Your home router. Does your ISP patch that router? Okay, when it has a vulnerability? We probably don't know. And what's been happening is that Chinese actors have taken over lots and lots and lots and lots of home routers and use those as launch points for espionage, for trying to go after critical infrastructure and infiltrate water, power, things like that. And that way, we don't know where they came from. It looks like it came from you. Okay. So for your home router, make sure you activate that firewall. Do not leave remote management turned on to the internet. There's no reason for you to be able to manage your home router from a hotel room in Duluth. Okay. It's not done. It's not useful. Okay. Disable Wi-Fi protected setup. Okay. For technical reasons I'm not going to go into, just disable that. Disable universal plug and play. Okay, we don't want things to automatically open ports when I didn't instruct my firewall to open a port myself. If you're unsure about firewall administration, there will be a really easy interface there, and you can just block everything except what's going out, right? You don't want things coming into your network. Firmware, if you ever do need to do an upgrade of your router, your wireless access point, which you should periodically, okay, that will be a firmware upgrade. Here's how to do it. You download the firmware, you connect your computer with a wire, okay, to your access point or whatever you're going to upgrade the firmware on, and you launch it, and it just does it, okay? It's real easy. The screen that I have shown here is from some firmware called the DDWRT firmware. Now, you can bop on down to Goodwill, get yourself a $5 Linksys access point, flash it with the DDWRT firmware, and it makes it into a really nice firewall. And you can firewall yourself off from your ISP router, which we don't trust. We don't know if they're patching that. We can't patch that. Better to not trust it at all. Throw Wi-Fi off your Linksys, disable Wi-Fi on your ISP router, and all of a sudden you're much more secure. Your home network, if it's possible, create a guest network. Okay. Isolate devices on a segment so that all your IoT junk, Alexa, all that junk is on another segment that you're not working on. Keep your stuff patched, like I said. Okay. And then for your own security practices, it's a really good idea for you to monitor your network. Okay. You can get a piece of software like ZenMap, map your network, see what's there. Okay. Be secure the way you conduct remote work, right? You don't want people staring at your screen while you're working remotely. Don't have it facing a window. It's good to use a VPN, okay, a virtual private network. And remember, you have to reboot devices to activate patches. Okay. Here's what a ZenMap map looks like. It's free software. Get it. Map your network. You'll find stuff you didn't know. Privacy. Use DuckDuckGo. It's a good privacy browser. Okay. It destroys everything. Doesn't keep cookies. Tor, the onion router. Use that to use things on the internet if you want to stay private. Nobody will know where you really are. Proton Mail, end-to-end encrypted email. 7-zip for file encryption when you want to send something sensitive to somebody through email. Signal, also end-to-end encryption. So is WhatsApp, but that's Meta. So there. All right, do's and don'ts. Don't follow every link you get in your personal email. In fact, don't use personal email at all at work. That's a real good suggestion. When I was at the city of Seattle, we made a lot of measurements, and we know that 40% of the compromised assets on the network was due to the use of personal email. Okay, keep that off the work computer. Fake apps that track you, they all track you. All right. Just be careful what you put on your phone because there's a lot of fakery out there and stuff is designed to just track where you are and give all the data to data brokers so I can go buy information on your movements. Okay. We don't want that. All right. The bait. We showed a lot of examples of bait. All this stuff is happening right now. Yes, it's too good to be true. Yes, the internet is here to sell to you, steal from you, and manipulate your opinion. Okay. Patch your vulnerabilities, reboot your device, personal use on a personal device, right? This is about don't use, your personal email at work. Use your phone, right? Facebook lives here. Gmail lives here, not on your work computer, right? Use the services I gave you. Don't reuse passwords. Okay. Use a passphrase. Use a password vault. Use multi-factor authentication. Obviously, more and more of us are being forced to do that. Don't resist. All right. But more important than anything else, if you see something, say something. Hey, my computer fan won't go off and I can hardly use this thing. Or, hey, I got this company communication about this document I should read, and I logged into SharePoint and there was nothing there. Tell somebody. Tell somebody. You can prevent your organization from getting crushed. Okay, that was a lot of stuff really fast. I would encourage everyone to download the video of this when this is done so you can use it for further use. We're going to do this once a quarter. We'll freshen this up every time with new content. And thank you all for attending. Remember, the internet is not a nice place.